What is up, guys? Yamato's Dev here. Today I'm here to do an update on my Talon Qiyana guide, long awaited. If you don't know me yet, then I don't know, you might live behind the moon. But for those who don't know, I'm Yamato's Dev, best assassin in EOS by far, playing Talon, Qiyana, Akshan, sometimes even Katarina if I feel like it. And I am ending 1009 LP on EOS for this split. I'm live streaming almost every day on Twitch TV, Yamato's Dev. And I'm going to the Korea to test my skill even further and in the upcoming week, and so I appreciate the follow, and let's jump right into it. As you can see here on Deep LOL GG, that I am actually a free trick. As you can see here, Akshan, Talon, Qiyana. My Talon win rate is 58%, my Qiyana win rate is 59%, and my Akshan win rate is 59%. I'm mainly focusing obviously on Talon Qiyana for those of you who care. If you really want an Akshan guide, then leave a like, maybe I'll consider it. But the main goal of this video and the guide is first off Talon and then Qiyana. I'll tell you about the build, about the runes, about matchups, about mechanic. So stay tuned and let's jump right into it now. So like I said first, I'm gonna go over Talon first. If you want to skip that and go straight to Qiyana, I'll leave a timestamp here. So I feel like Talon is way easier to execute and overall in my opinion way stronger in solo queue in most elos. Qiyana gets stronger the higher elo you go and the better mechanically you get. So if you're not the strongest or like legit by fang level mechanically, I can only suggest you to play Talon first. Learn the overall macro and how to play assassin. I feel like Talon is really good for that. And then still be kinda similar to Qiyana and high elo. I feel like since my Talon win rate is really similar to my Qiyana win rate. And somehow they're still kinda different in the playstyle, okay? So let's get into the game. I'm gonna lock Talon here, and the runes I'm going to go in almost every single game nowadays is not first strike anymore and not TP. It is Electrocute, Sudden Impact, Eyeball, Relentless. And I go Sorcery with a Mana Flow and a Scorch. I know, really crazy setup, but this has guaranteed me to win most lanes, even against the biggest cuck mage players. Even pro players, Niski caps, I can almost win certainly in most scenarios, even laning phase, which should be, theoretically speaking, the weakest point of an assassin, especially mid lane if you're a melee champion. Okay, so this is the runes. Let's get into the game. So, build. What I built is usually, or like certainly the mythic is always going to be a dust blade, okay? Any other mythic item, assassin item is troll. Yumus is absolute dog, absolute unplayable. I would not recommend it to ever take Yumus. It's absolutely like legit compared to Dustblade. It's a joke. And Eclipse is only good if you play against 5 tanks. And I think even then, Dustblade might be more viable just because of the armor penetration items. Okay. So first of all, Dustblade, then Boots of Swiftness. If you have a rough laning phase against, for example, Ahri, for example against Syndra, for example against Cassio, I can recommend going Boots after your Dirk. Okay, so you have roam potential, you have higher dodge potential on the skill shots, and you definitely have still enough damage because we have Electrocute and we have Ignite. Okay, it's not like the Talon guide that I did before with the TP first strike. We are actually alpha now, okay? We are playing alpha Talon. So what you go after the split and boots is usually if enemies have a lot of shielding, if the carries have shielding, if they have a lot of enchanters, if they have a Shen, if they have a Karma, Serpent's Fang second. If they have semi-tanky team, Black Cleaver. If they have squishy, or maybe at most two tanky teammates, but you're solely focusing on killing the carries, Crutch into Edge of Night into Black Cleaver. If they don't have a lot of shields, you go Dustblade into Boots into Edge of Night. Okay, Edge of Night is actually a pretty good item. It gives you a lot of tankiness. And on this spike, if you're fed enough, or like if you're not behind enough, you're still gonna one shot. Okay. So we go in most games, Dustblade, Boots, Edge of Night, Crutch, Black Cleaver, And situational item as last. You can decide if you want to go, I don't know, maybe GA. Maybe Prowler even to spice it up. Usually I go Axiom just for the ultimate in late game. You can even go Collector, it's not a bad item. So you have a lot of options. But I feel like the core is always going to be Duskblade, Edge of Night, Crutch, Black Cleaver. You need to keep in mind, lethality does not scale, okay? The only thing that scales on Assassins is the armor penetration, which usually after 30 minutes, lethality becomes a user stat and armor penetration becomes an OP stat. So this is in most games the optimal build. Sometimes if you're really funky, I also do it sometimes. I go Duskblade, Serpent's Fang, Edge of Night, Collector. Where's Edge of Night now? Which is absolutely troll, because the moment enemies build 1 to 2 item or it gets to minute 30 and they're all level 18, you are going to become useless, okay? So only take those items, especially for lethality items, even free lethality items is sometimes int. If you're 100% certain you're hardcore carrying and the game is going to end before 30 minutes, okay? Okay, let's get into the matchups and the bans. So, for bans, I am always banning Ahri, no matter what. I hate this champion, I despise this champion. It's the most unskilled champion, especially especially built with Everfrost. There is no counterplay. I can literally play against the silver Ahri, and I will probably lose laning phase, into losing mid game, into losing late game, just because of how much counterplay Ahri has to an assassin. So, Ahri ban. LeBlanc really broken, especially still after the nerfs, after static nerfs, still unplayable, still broken. Doesn't matter who plays it, you can wave clear even still with 1 out attack, you still outscale, you are still insane lane bully. So what I do usually is I ban Ahri and I ask for LeBlanc ban, because LeBlanc is high ban rate anyway, so you have a high chance of LeBlanc being banned. And you ban Ahri, so you have 2 unplayable matchups already gone. So the only unplayable matchup in my opinion still remains is Syndra, which is in some scenarios playable if you're really good and you don't make stupid mistakes, and Cassio. I feel like Cassio is also really, really hard. So these are the 4 unplayable matchups. So Ahri, LeBlanc, Cassio. What did I just say? Am I stupid? Ahri, LeBlanc, Cassio, and Syndra. Oh, sorry, my bad. Brain lag. What also isn't really playable, but still somehow playable, is Tristana mid. I feel like there is a lot of counterplay to Tristana, especially if she jumps on you. Okay, that's where you should strike. So I feel like Tristana can be playable still, annoying. And for matchups, like I said, like it is before, also, you do not get bullied. Okay, level 1, level 2, level 3 is where you're the weakest, but also where you can still do counterplay. So for example, I'm playing Talon here and I play against an Azir, which is pretty good right now and pretty strong, especially laning phase. What I'm doing here is, as you can see, my setup. This is me. I have Electrocute. What I'm trying here is to W him, to get my mana flow off, so I barely have mana issues, in laning phase especially, and my Scorch off, okay? This 100 damage, and this 100 damage is already psychologically killing him, okay? What we're doing here is playing psychological warfare against the control mage cuck. That's the main goal with this rune setup. So I got the perfect W off, this guy's already tilted to Oblivion, I'm playing it safe, I'm not getting harassed by his level 1 soldiers, or like at least I'm trying. Obviously you can go for these 3 minions if you don't lose too much health. On Talon it's still doable, on Qiyana it's kinda different. Okay, so what I'm doing here is playing defensively, trying to not get poked, trying to throw my W to him to proc my mana flow and my Scorch to keep the lane pressure up so I'm not getting bullied too much. Try to get as much last hits as possible with my W. And now you see me level 2. He's level 2. Who do you think is stronger level 2? Azir or Talon? Obviously Talon. So this guy has a bad wave state, I have a good wave state, and this should be a perfect moment for me to try something. What I'm doing here is, look, I'm trying to walk up. He respects it because he knows he's missing 2 minions now of XP, and I still get the Q off. Dish, dish, dish. Do you see this combo? Q into him, wait what he does, and then W. Walk with him into the W also. Okay? Watch. Q into him, walk with the W so it hits. My guy's literally fucked already. He has to go back and TP, which is like, I mean, is that fair that this guy insta lane and TP's back and basically loses nothing? No, not really. But you get you understand the concept. And that's how I usually lane against control mages. I force them into being a bit chunked with my rune setup. I let them have a bad wave state because they're usually pushing me in. And then if the wave of them is bad and in bad wave state, I look for a positive trait. And trust me, just this alone, this mental warfare I just did with Azir, he's already tilted and I will have priority the entire game. Okay? That should be the main thing about early lane. Now, let's get into mechanics. So I forgot about something. What I didn't mention before is there is a patch coming which shows buffs to Prowler and Axiom. I still believe that Axiom is not gonna be a good item. I feel like the change they're gonna do is not gonna make it viable. Maybe as a late item, but especially Prowler I think is going to be a viable item now. So what you can build, I'm still not sure, I'm just making speculation, is Dustbed into Prowler, okay? But what I've said before is the build is still fine, so even if you go Dustbed into Edge of Night still, or Dustbed into Serpents is still gonna be viable, okay? So, now let's get into the mechanics. First of all, as you guys know, if you watch my last video, I explained all of Talon's important mechanics already in this video, so I'm just gonna keep it short here. The main mechanic I'm still doing in laning phase especially is Q auto attack, W. Walk with the W where the enemy walks, auto attack. This is what you need to do in laning phase, okay? No other ability, no other combos needed in laning phase, no other combos needed to win trades. Obviously if you W and they somehow stupid enough to walk into your second W, which is not gonna happen in high elo, but maybe in low elo, you obviously can W back and then Q auto attack, obviously. That's like something everyone does, right? But what I'm talking about is high elo, okay? People understand Talon's W, they understand how to walk out of it. So the main thing you want to do is jiggle, 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 wait for them to make a misstep and walk into your QU range. Q auto attack, W, walk with them, auto attack. Okay? Next important combo, which I also talked about in my last video, is the main combo I'm doing to one-shot people. Okay? Let me put off the tower fire. So what I'm doing is, I'm not doing W, Q auto attack ult. Because you know why? Because if you jump, you W, they already flashed. Okay? Like, your W animation is too long to make them not have counterplay. What the main combo here is, what I'm doing is, I Q right click to stop, to animation cancel my auto attack, so I can get off the W ult auto attack in an instant. Okay? Does that make sense? Let me show you here. So basically I'm trying to assassinate this thing here. I come here, I E, I Q out animation cancel, W ult auto attack. Understood? So tell me where the counterplay here is with this combo. Alright, there is no counterplay. There is no counterplay. Little bro, there is no counterplay. I'm sorry to disappoint. Okay? So this is the main combo you're doing. Another good combo you can do is, for example, if you don't want to Q, if there's a lot of stacked enemies, for example. Let's show an example here, for example. If you see a lot of enemies stacked, you can go E, ult, W ult, auto attack, Q auto attack, okay? That's like the main 3 combos you should know on Talon. I feel like obviously there's more in-depth combos, there's combos you should do at certain scenarios, but I feel like in most elos, in most scenarios, the most important combo you should know, what I just showed you, is QWR auto attack. That's all you need to know. Okay? You're fat enough. If you're fat enough, you one-shot. If you're medium fat, you one-shot. If you're useless, you still one-shot AD carry. It doesn't matter. You just need to be confident and do the combo correctly. The main problem with this combo is just the problem with the auto attack, okay? Do you see what I mean? If you Q auto attack W ult, there is a certain second where your auto attack doesn't go off. And that one certain second is where enemies have counterplay. So that's what I mean. You should Q cancel with right click, animation cancel, so I can ult W auto attack in instantly. Do you understand it now? Hopefully I think every single one understood this now, and every single bronze understood what I just meant. And let's get right into the playstyle. So I found a good example game here. For example, what I'm playing against is BZ, one of the best sets on EOS Challenger set 1 trick, Gilius Jungle, okay? So it's pretty stacked game. This matchup is so la la. I would not say this is Talon winning. I would definitely say this is Z winning because of the range advantage. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing kind of offensive. Try not to get hit by the Q here, for example. This was pretty bad, but I get him back with a W. So what I'm doing here is try to dodge Q, get as much possible velocities as possible. Maybe look for a trade at level 2, okay? This is what you could do. Look for a trade level 2. And what I'm mainly looking for in this game, in this scenario, in these matchups, you can't really stomp. Look for roams, okay? Might sound stupid, okay? It's like a basic assassin thing. Everyone says, oh, assassin's so noob, so bad, you just roam and get kill. But it's not that simple, okay? It's not that simple, especially in high elo. So the main thing I'm doing here is try not to get poked down, try to stay even in laning phase, try to get as much CS as possible, and do not give up my bully position, okay? I'm showing dominance here. He's already afraid, he already knows what I can do, he sees sunbathing, the name alone brings fear in this guy's brain, okay? So once again, I'm playing a psychological warfare, early levels. Understand? Just me walking up like this as an alpha Talon, and this guy better cuck Z with his better cuck setup first strike. Me walking up, Wing him with my mana flow scorch W just brings him enough fear that he's not willing to poke me down or play aggressively. That alone makes me win the game in some minutes. I will show you what will happen. So I'm winning game state wise. Obviously this is kinda bad wave state. Look, the wave here is kinda bad. Because if he holds it here, which he's going to do, my wave set is going to be bad because the cannon is here. My wave set is bad here, and I'm open for a gank, okay? So what I'm doing here is avoiding, because I know Rumble is bot side, because they usually start red buff. So I'm doing a ward here, just in case I get cheese ganked. My goal here is push this wave out as fast as possible, so my bad wave set doesn't make him somehow gain something, okay? Now we kinda saved. You can see Rumble invading, me pushing in the wave first and dominating mental warfare on this set has made me be able to roam on a good wave state. I will not lose one singular minion. And what is going to happen here? What did we learn before? What did I just do? What I just said on a mechanical topic? Let's take a look. Gilius, okay? Gilius, okay? Pro player. Pro player, okay? What did I do? I am patient. I Q him first. I auto attack. I W afterwards. Walk with him so my W hits. Auto attack, ignite. My guy has so much ego. He did not respect my damage and did not flash my third W. What happens? IE, getting Q range, out tech, dish. Almost get a double kill here. He's barely lucky here. Because I do not have a E over this wall here, sadly. So, what just happened? I didn't lose one singular minion. Maybe I lost 2 minions. 1 minion at most. What did Zed lose? Sums. His jungle is tilted. He's behind. I have red buff. I have a good wave state. I go back with my Dirk. Game is won. Game is won on the spot. I can literally guarantee you this game is won just because of how confident I can play now and how tilted enemy is by me getting the first blood here. So Zed has to back here or just keep on the turret, which is, I mean, he has to stay here because he's gonna miss 2 waves and the game is already over if he does that. I could have killed him here if I had a little bit more mana, but I did actually think he would back here. So doesn't matter, I go back here, get my Dirk. This Rumble somehow like knows that I'm backing here, but doesn't matter, I didn't die. So I back here, what do I get? Dirk boots. Me even having this boots advantage on the Z is going to be enough in most cases for me to snowball this game, if you believe it or not. Even the singular boots that I have advantage on him is going to be enough. So, what is happening? I'm kinda even in CS, which is fine. Normally you should be behind in CS against the Z, okay? Bad wave set again by the Z. I'm perma bullying with my rune setup into Scorch mana flow. I have permanent mana. I can W spam over and over again. Dish. This was a solo bolo. I don't know why Ivan stealed this. Okay, let's check out the combo. You see what I just did there? What is the counterplay? What is the counterplay? What is the counterplay Zed just had? The moment he W'd, I knew he was dead. The moment I bait his W out, because you just see it, I was level 5. I was waiting for the minion to die there, and he did not know that I was going to hit level 6 here. It's the small things that make my playstyle work. I Q. Cancel my auto attack. Do you know why I cancel my auto attack on the Q? So I can instantly proc my passive after I W ult. Does it make sense now? Because if I Q auto attacked, he had a short outplay potential where I could not auto attack because I already did it. Understood? The fact Ivan sold this with his Q should be permanent, but it's fine. Zed loses insane a lot over here. He loses 2 waves. So at this point the game is over anyway. I'm just starting to snowball. We can show the end scenario. I'm basically 7-1, okay. 9-1, 10-1, 13-1. Game is basically over. The enemy can't play anymore. I'm perma killing the Z. We're ending the game here. And now keep in mind, the only reason this is the case is because of my early 3 levels. Okay? Keep that in mind. My rune setup, my pressure I apply in the early 3 levels, and my roaming on a good spot. 3 points you need to understand. And that is it. Let's fucking go. Okay, that was it with Talon. Now let's start with Qiyana. First of all, I'm gonna talk about the runes. Let me go into practice mode. Dish. So, the runes on Qiyana are kinda different. And kinda dependent on matchup, okay? This is getting more complex than Talon now. What I usually go still, I feel like I have a kinda similar playstyle with Qiyana, with Talon, with Qiyana, then with Talon, then Qiyana with Talon, okay. So, Electrocute, Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, Relentless. I go Mana Flow still, but I go Transcendence. Sometimes you can even go Scorch if you have an easy matchup for the lane pressure. You can still go what Baifeng does, Presence of Mind, Last Stand. You can even go Conqueror. Okay? Conqueror, Resolve. You can still go Demolish, Bone Plating. You can go Overgrowth Bone Plating. You can go Overgrowth Demolish. You can go Sudden Impact Relentless. You can go Sudden Impact Treasure Hunter. You can even still go First Strike if you have a really bad lane and you want to 100% go for the scaling. Okay, this should be it. Or this even. Okay, so there's a lot of possibilities. But what I go is the Electrocute setup. Okay? Wait, shit, I need to log in. What I go is this. This is the runes I usually go. Okay? Ignite, don't forget. What I build with Qiyana is Duskblade. Every game, do not go Eclipse. Do not go Humus. Troll, like with Talon. Duskblade is the only viable item in my opinion. Especially on Qiyana. On Talon you kinda have a possibility to still go Eclipse. It's not bad on Talon. But on Qiyana, if you go anything else, you should be permanent. Okay? So what I go on Qiyana is Dirk, Boots, if you have a bad matchup. If you don't have a bad matchup, Duskblade Rush, Swifties. Then, like with Talon, you can go Edge of Night second. Like with Talon, you can go Serpent's Fang second. If enemies have a lot of shielding. Like with Talon, next patch you might be able to go Prowler second. I would see a possibility here. Third, Crutch if enemy is insanely tanky and you need the tankiness. Black Cleaver is still a good item, like I said, it's not a bad item. Usually in most games you go Crutch into Black Cleaver. Situation last item as on Talon. So if you have, for example, Duskblade Boots, enemies have a lot of shielding, you should go this. You should go this. Then you should go Black Cleaver and then you should go Edge of Night. If you need really tankiness and you are like full build or something, you could go J. You could go Death Stance, which I would not really. I feel like Death Stance is a bit too overnerfed. So with Qiyana, late game, especially next patch, you might be able to try Axiom Arc. Definitely more stronger than on Talon, I feel like, especially on last item. But only next patch, okay? So your full build should look something like that, for example, okay? Runes I already talked about. It's kind of similar to Talon. Maybe the Transcendence is different, in my opinion, for me. And yeah, that's it. Let's get into the matchups. So what I usually ban as Qiyana is Ahri, like I said. It's the same bans as on Talon. Ahri, for me, completely unplayable. I despise this champion. It's so unskilled. And LeBlanc ban Ask. Okay, LeBlanc has a way higher win rate than way higher ban rate than Ahri. So you should ban Ahri and ask for LeBlanc ban, because LeBlanc should be theoretically banned in most games. Look at the ban rate, for example, 60%. 60% ban rate. Yo, Riot. 77% ban rate. Yo, Riot. I think we might have a problem with this champion. Maybe look into it, okay? Okay. So, what I feel like is a hard matchup for Qiyana is way different than Talon. You could theoretically lane anything, because the main difference about Qiyana and Talon, Qiyana can actually play defensive. If you play defensive on Talon, you automatically lost already. You lose insane pressure. You do not have the scaling runes anymore. You do not have TP anymore, like before. So what I'm saying is, Qiyana could theoretically play into anything, except LeBlanc, obviously. Ahri is, I mean, playable, but for me, in my opinion, not really, so I just ban it. Syndra is really hard, as you can see from my win rate against Syndras. Asi can be really hard if he's good. Yone should be doable, definitely. I feel like Qiyana can counter Yone. Annie is doable also if you get the lead you need. And I feel like that should be it. I feel Qiyana does not have a lot of bad matchups, compared to Talon at least. So that's a bonus for the Qiyana players, because you can usually go even in certain bad matchups you're not supposed to win, you can still go even if you're just simply better than enemy. Okay, does this make sense? Now let me find a gameplay I can show you. Be right back. Okay guys, I'm honest with you, I couldn't really find a game where I really struggled with Qiyana lane phase. So let's jump right into the mechanics. And I will afterwards show you a game where I stomp enemies from level 3 onwards by just simply having crazy mechanics on this champion. Okay? And game knowledge, of course. So, let me explain the mechanics. Obviously, I already did a video about Qiyana and her mechanics, so you should definitely watch this if you want to go into depth. I'm just going to show the main mechanics you need to know on Qiyana. So, build, dish. Let's go Axiom to spice some things up. So, important combo number 1. Always stay in the bush, obviously, in laning phase especially. QWEQ. Number 1 important combo. If you go for all-in, for example. If you go for kite. Number 2 important combo, which is solely useful for laning phase. QW. Wait in the bush a bit, see what enemy does, and then Q afterwards. This is what you should do in laning phase, especially if you go for a fight for like if you wanna proc the mana flow, if you wanna go kite, not kite, poke. You should always look for this combo. I can show it here, for example. If enemy is standing here, you can even spice things up. You E on a minion, because people obviously not going to face tank you as a Qiyana, right? So E through a minion. EQ. Wait a bit. WQ. Yeah. This usually wins your trade, even if you're early game, if you know items. So I can repeat the combo once again. EQ, stealth. W into them. Outtake Q, run away. Understood? Okay. Let's get to the next combo, which is going to be a more complex combo, obviously, but if you guys already watched my other video, you should know this combo. Keep in mind, we do not have Prowler anymore. Important information. We do not have Prowler anymore. Did the combo get easier that much? Not really. Because you know why? We will need to work with auto attacks now. So what you need to do is work with auto attacks now. Instead of pressing 1 for Prowler, you E-ult auto attack in an instant. Auto attack again. Q, W. Auto attack again. Auto attack again. Q. You are playing with auto attacks now. Keep this in mind. People always ask me in my Twitch chat when they watch my Qiyana, Yamato, why you do so much more damage on Qiyana than me? Because I am smart with my auto attacks. Keep this in mind. Do the math. If you're actually a pretty smart math guy, you can know how much bonus damage you deal per combo if you use your auto attacks in a smart way and actually use your auto attacks in between using spells. Does this make sense? So I can show you guys again. If I remove the minions here, because they're pretty annoying. Where's the minion? Toggle minions. Show you guys again. So you usually have a bush. E-ult, out-tech, QW, out-tech, Q. You can do another out-tech in between, depends if they have counterplay, depends if they have flash. You can even though if you're really fancy, and if you really wanna hide your EQ animation. No counterplay here, okay? So keep this in mind, you can also hide your animations to reduce even less counterplay. Does it make sense? What I often do also, as you can see, is a mechanic I didn't show in the other video. So it's pretty rare information. Do not tell anyone else. This is only known for you, okay? Keep this a secret. You Q away. They think you're going this way. But what you're actually doing is you Q this way, you go back, and then E-ult them out of stealth. Understand? So you basically make them think you're like queuing away, which you're not. And then you strike from the invis. Okay, does it make sense? So what we've learned from this mechanical outplay now, with Prowlers being removed, use your auto attacks in between combos. It will increase your damage by like legit 100%. I'm not even trolling. Okay? Now let's get into the matchup and let's get into the game, and I will explain you how to play Qiyana early game compared to Talon. Okay? Let's go. So, what we have here is a good matchup. Okay? This is a rare good matchup. Playing against Don No Way. Some of you may know him. He might be a famous streamer. So what I'm doing here is I get Grass level 1. I never go Q start. If you see a Qiyana that goes Q start, noob. It's useless. Maybe in some scenarios where you like have your like 3 cannon minions, and not cannon minions, melee minions that are all low life, and if you get them all with 1 Q, it might be worth. But I feel like in these scenarios where you play a range matchup into melee matchups, you need to stay on the attack range. You need to walk in a circle where you still get the XP, but are not close enough to get auto-attacked. Okay? So like I said before, do not get bullied, do not get chunked. Your HP bar is the most valuable thing on an assassin in early game. If you want to apply pressure, you need to stay healthy. Okay? So what you can see me doing here is not like play too defensive so you can just walk up and auto-attack me. Auto-attack the minion, so I might have an advantage here, but do not walk into his auto-attack range. Okay? That's my main goal here. So as you can see, I'm timing. The 1 auto-attack is fine if you get 2 minions for it, don't worry. What I'm doing here is I'm timing my last hits with his bad movement. So my guy obviously needs to last hit also. The moment he goes for a last hit and auto-attacks, there is a small timing where you can go selfie for an auto-attack also. Okay, does this make sense? So he eat. I'm instantly walking back. I'm trying not to get auto-attacked. I'm still in the range, obviously, to get all my minions here. Now we have time to last it. Sometimes people go, like a good laner for example, would go for a ward here, but since No Way is a little bit washed, he's trying to poke me down here, which is absolutely useless because first of all, I broke his bone plating, which is massively important for my level 3 all-in. The main thing here is, as you can see in some seconds, I broke his bone plating, which ultimately makes me be able to play more aggressive. Okay, I remember that. He has no bone plating. I'm giving up the minions here. Do you see what I'm doing here? Do you see what I'm doing here? I am giving up the minions. 4 minions or even 5. So he does not get more poke on me that is necessary. Do you know why? Because I'm trying to go for a level 3 all-in. Or like not all-in, but you know, trade pattern. Kill pressure pattern. Why? My wave set is better. He has no bone plating anymore, and he's playing overconfidently. Understood? So, what do we have here? A good wave state. Level 3 hit. He's already shitting his pants. He knows what's about to happen. What does he do? Still walk up towards me. Why? I don't know. E auto attack Q. Do you see the difference between me and you? You sitting in gold playing Qiyana trolling, E Qing instantly not using auto attacks. Me a professional Qiyana, E auto attack Q. Auto attack again. W back into him after making him think he's safe. You are never safe, soy boy, when you play against Sunbear and Qiyana. He W's away. I mean, obviously, can't hit every skill shot. But still, this is still good. I still have kill pressure. Keep in mind, I have both sums. My guy, still bad wave state. Keep in mind, if my jungle was good here, he would have ganked, but my jungle is filled, so. See what I did there? I see he needs to go for the cannon. No one wants to willingly give up a cannon. What do? I punish him for it. Here, I could have risked a Q flash ignite auto attack and he would have died. But the fact he has flash up also and he was waiting for it, I knew this would have been too risky. And if you do too risky stuff, when your wave set is not optimal, which my wave set isn't optimal here, it's not worth doing, even if you trade 1 for 1, okay? Keep that in mind. I'm still winning lane here. I have way more pressure than he does. But if I use flash and he counters my flash, I am fucked, okay? So I'm looking for a mistake he does here. Me, I'm not going to do anything here. Because if I do the first move, he can counter it. What I'm looking here for him to do is a mistake. And I am punishing his mistake. I will not let him punish my mistake. Okay? Understand? If you believe it or not, obviously, maybe, EQ would have killed here. But do you see what is coming up? Bone plating. An assassin's biggest nemesis. So now it's over. I have no kill pressure anymore, and he knows it. He knows his bone plating is up. What does he do? He tries to bait me into flashing him, EQ or ignite. Would it have killed him? No, because bone plating would have, like, at least let him live, like, at least 80 HP. He has flash up. I use all spells, he would have killed me. Okay. What do I see here? Better jungle comes. Okay, better jungle comes. My wave set is bad. Well, unlucky. I'm respecting it. I instantly see Kindred. I walk into, obviously, the other side. Kindred is still chasing me. Well, shit. Unlucky for me. My wave set is bad. Look. My wave set is bad. What am I doing? I am pinging. Help me. Help me push out the wave. Because if I go back here, I'm going to lose 2 waves. His wave is going to stay here. I will have insane bad wave set. So what I'm doing here is help me. This is a moment where your team actually needs to help you, especially if you don't have TP. Okay? With TP, it wouldn't be a problem. You could just back and TP back, but I have Ignite, keep in mind. So Alistar sees it well. MVP Alistar. Because if he did not do this here, I would have had a hard time laning phase. So Alistar sees it, I ping it. He needs to help me here, which he sees. No way TP's back. I'm pinging, help me, assist me. Alistar actually sees it. 5-hat. Good job, Alistar. I'm proud of him. Helps him push out the wave, so I can actually do it. And he actually prevents him from freezing also, so this is perfectly fine. Well played, Alistar. Let's get a well played Alistar in the chat. This should be a support right there. This is an MVP support right there. Why not every game like that? I don't know. So what I'm getting here is a Dirk, obviously. Going back to lane. And I just know I have kill pressure now. I just know. I'm in his head now. No way knows it. No way knows who I am. He knows it. He's shaking. One singular mistake he does, he's dead. So what I'm seeing now is, he backed. I have tempo advantage. My wave is in a good spot. I push out the wave fast. Actually I do a little freeze here. And I see the Kindred. Look. Alistar plays a good ward. I see the Kindred. But I know that he sees me coming. So he backs off. Okay. I know that he's going to back off. I was just like... shit. I was just like testing. So what I'm doing now... my wave is still in a fine spot. I know that he's going to his Kruk. Not Kruk, what is this called? Is this Kruk? Yeah, it's Kruk. Because he obviously can't go anywhere else. I know it. I just have it in the feeling. My wave is in a fine state. The only thing Corki can do is ping missing. Which he isn't doing. No, he is doing. Okay. So he is doing. But what the bot lane thinks is that I'm going for them. But I'm actually not going for them. I'm going for the Kindred. Okay. Always do the unexpected. Look. Q. WQ over the wall. EQ ignite auto attack that. EQ ignite proc electrocute auto attack that. In an instant signals that enemies are missing on himself, into Kindred being tilted, into Kindred not wanting to play the game anymore. Now, what happens in this game now? you guessed it right, I will fucking snowball out of the fucking roof just because of one singular kill. And do you know what else happens? I'm getting the entire wave because I roamed on a good wave state. Another mistake by Corki. Why is he trying to poke me down here? Why is he not just backing? He has no kill pressure on me anyway. Why is he not backing? Okay, I missed the cannon there. Okay. So I'm just gonna show another solo bolo here. A little bit of solo bolo, okay? What do we have here again? Good wave set for me. Bad wave set for him. He's half-life into an assassin with Dirk. What does this mean? Kill pressure, okay? Look at what I'm doing now. Look at what I'm doing now, guys. What did I just show you in the mechanical aspect of the video? The Q away into walk back into enemy. Look what he's thinking. There is a bot skirmish. He thinks I'm trying to go for this bot skirmish. But what am I actually doing? I'm walking back into W out of stealth into E ultim. And he reacts too late. He's already caught in my ultimate. Solo bolo. Solo bolos just like that. They're fucking mind games. They're psychological warfare. Their psychological attack I'm doing on these enemies is crazy. And that's the sole reason why I'm winning. As this role, as my role on my gems in this elo. Understand? And now at this point, Corki cannot play. He just gets one shot. I'm perma trading into him. He has perma bad wave states. His game is basically Jova. Can we get another solo bolo going? Another solo bolo maybe? What did I just do there, guys? I auto-tagged before I did the second Q. And that's why he died. If I Q'd, he would have not died there. Let's get it in slow-mo again. EQ, W into him, auto tech, Q, instantly. He could not, maybe he could have flashed earlier, I'm not sure, but I mean he obviously was rooted because of the ice. Maybe it was his mistake, but still, this was 100% a kill, no matter if he had flash, just because of my electric proc. Okay. So another solo bolo, and now I just start completely going crazy. Like every single thing I do here is just snowballing. 9-1, 11-2, 12-2, enemy already gave up, look, enemy zoo kill is already tilted from mid diff. 13-2, 14-3, 17-3, and we're ending the game at 20 23. Okay, understand? Alright. So guys, I think that was all. I made a little sum up for you guys in my skilled paint skills. You can see the items I go on Qiyana here. And Serpent second, obviously, if you have a lot of shields, LJ Knight. Prowler might be viable next patch. I'll keep an eye out, and I will tell you guys if that's the case. As you know, you can always watch me every day on Twitch TV, and next week I'll be in Korea to remind you guys. So a lot of runes are viable on Qiyana, like I said, but I feel like this page is the best for carrying. Okay, this is the best page for 1v9ing. What I go is Transcendence usually instead of Scorch, but if you have a real easy matchup, for example against Corki, you can still go Scorch, it's not bad. And now we have Talon. So Edge of Night second, which I didn't go this game, I went Serpents because I have a lot of shields. Then you go third Crutch, fourth Black Cleaver in a normal game, okay? If you have a lot of squishies and you are certain you're going to win the game, you can still go lethality items, it's not bad. So about the runes with Talon is Conk is viable. First Strike is viable. Face Rush is viable. But keep in mind, is it really the best? No. Electro is the best right now for sure. Because of the lane pressure, because of the ignite combination, because of the early strength, because of the actually good scaling Electrocute has also. So I think, in my opinion, you should take the runes I take, especially with sorcery. Trust me, if you think this is troll, try it out. The Scorch Mental Warfare is crazy. The mana flow you get on Talon especially. I mean, Qiyana has a lot of mana problems, we all know that. But Talon, if you go mana flow, you can spam W, I think legit like 20 times in any phase before going out of mana. And if you spam 20 Ws, you know you have a lot of resources after that, okay? So is there anything I would say to sum up this guide? No, I think that's it. If you obviously want to learn more, go more in depth into mid game, late game is something I can't really explain. I can only explain about early game and laning phase. If you want to obviously go more in depth about late game, mid game, you know where to find me, to Yamato's Dev. I'll be hopefully streaming every single day. Hope you guys enjoyed the guide. Hope you learned a lot, or like learned more than last time, or maybe, I don't know, got motivated to play Assassins now and try to get challenger like me also. I do appreciate you guys. Make sure to like the video, make sure to comment a smiley face, and hopefully I'll see you in the next update, or maybe hopefully in the next guide. Maybe Akshan, maybe it's Akshan time. Let's see. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.